What if the person everyone called the problem was only the first one who stopped pretending? Every family has a story about itself. Maybe the story is that everyone is close. Maybe it is that everyone is strong, loyal, practical, normal, respectable. The words change, but the structure is usually the same. A family becomes a small world with its own rules, punishments, and version of reality. And then one person does not fit. They ask the wrong questions. They feel things too deeply. They refuse the career, the marriage, the silence, the tradition, the expected smile at the dinner table. They notice the tension everyone else has learned to step around. They say something out loud that was supposed to remain inside the walls. And suddenly, they are difficult. Not honest, not awake, not wounded. Difficult. This is why the idea of the black sheep is so powerful. It is never just about being different. The wound is being treated as if your difference proves that something is wrong with you. You can share blood, a surname, a house, and a history, and still feel like your inner life speaks another language. Then the question begins quietly. Am I actually wrong, or am I surrounded by people who need me to be? Family systems often work like emotional machines. Every person plays a role that helps the whole system stay familiar. The responsible one, the quiet one, the successful one, the peacekeeper, and sometimes someone becomes the problem. That role can be strangely useful. If one person can be labeled unstable, selfish, rebellious, dramatic, or lost, then everyone else gets to avoid harder questions. It is much easier to say one person is broken than to admit the whole room is tense. This does not only happen in families. Schools, workplaces, and communities reward obedience. The person who questions too much, refuses too much, or creates a life outside the approved pattern can become threatening, not because they are dangerous, but because they make the pattern visible. A rule feels natural until someone refuses to follow it. Picture a family gathering. Plates on the table, people laughing, someone asking about work, someone making the same familiar joke. Then one person gives an answer that does not match the script. Maybe they do not want the life everyone expected. Maybe they no longer believe what the family believes. Maybe they mention something painful that everyone agreed, without saying it, to forget. The room changes, not loudly, just enough. A glance, a silence, a forced laugh, a sentence like, "Why do you always have to make things complicated?" Or, "We are just worried about you," or "You think you are better than everyone now." These small moments are how a group protects its reality. Not always through cruelty, sometimes through concern, sometimes through jokes, sometimes through disappointment disguised as love, sometimes through the heavy silence that teaches you exactly which parts of yourself are welcome and which ones must stay outside. If this happens enough, you may begin to internalize the role. You stop simply being different and start feeling identified by rejection. You become the one who does not belong, the one who must explain, defend, justify, or disappear. But here is where the question becomes dangerous. What if the black sheep is right? Not always, not automatically, but sometimes. Sometimes the person called difficult is the only one noticing the emotional rules. Sometimes the person accused of breaking the family is actually breaking the silence around what was already broken. Sometimes the one who leaves is not abandoning the group, but refusing to abandon themselves. This is why the black sheep can carry a strange loneliness. Not only from being rejected, it is loneliness from seeing something others deny and then being punished for reacting to it. But if that were the whole story, it would be too easy. Being rejected does not make you wise. Being different does not make you deep. Being misunderstood does not automatically mean you are living with courage. There is a version of the black sheep that is not free at all. It is only trapped in the opposite direction. When a person is pushed into the role of outsider, the role can become a home. A painful home, but still a home. You begin to know who you are only by what you refuse. If they value stability, you value chaos. If they value tradition, you reject everything old. If they want you quiet, you become loud even when silence would be wiser. It can feel like freedom, but it is still a reaction. And if everything you do is designed to contradict your family, then your family is still shaping your life. They are not controlling you through approval anymore. They are controlling you through opposition. This is where rebellion divides into two paths. Real rebellion is not just refusing the old pattern. It is building something more honest. It requires thought, responsibility, patience, and sometimes sacrifice. It does not exist only to shock the room. It exists because something true is trying to live. Performance rebellion is different. It feeds on the image of being misunderstood. It confuses destruction with depth, attention with authenticity, and chaos with freedom. It says, "You cannot control me," while being completely controlled by the need to prove it. Two people may leave the same family and reject the same expectations. One is walking toward a life they have chosen. The other is only running from a life they hate. From a distance, both look like escape. Up close, one has direction, and the other has only speed. This is why the label black sheep can be both a wound and a temptation. It can explain your pain, but it can also seduce your ego. It can help you understand why you were isolated, but it can also become a costume that protects you from self-examination. Because maybe your family did misunderstand you, and maybe you still have work to do. Both can be true. There is another reversal that matters here. Imagine waking up one day and the entire family has become what they once called the black sheep. They all share the outsider's values. They all reject the old path. They all laugh at the old rules. And suddenly, you are the only one who does not fit. Would you still defend difference? Or would you feel the same discomfort they once felt toward you? Families do not always reject difference because they are evil. Sometimes they reject it because difference creates fear. It suggests that the life they chose may not be the only possible life. It makes them wonder whether obedience was wisdom or just survival. It threatens the sacrifices they made to belong. So they may call you lost, instead of admitting they feel questioned by your existence. And the same pattern can live inside you. A friend changes. A sibling chooses a life you do not understand. A partner no longer fits the story you built around them. Suddenly, you may feel the impulse to correct, advise, mock, guilt, or diagnose them. Not because you are cruel, because their difference creates a question you did not want to face. This is why the black sheep is not just a family role. It is a mirror. It shows how groups protect themselves, how identity becomes a cage, and how easily love can become pressure when people are afraid of losing the world they know. So maybe the real question is not, am I the black sheep? Maybe the better question is, what is my difference becoming? Is it becoming clarity or bitterness? Is it becoming creation or only opposition? Is it helping me tell the truth or giving me permission to avoid responsibility? Is it making me more alive or only more attached to being misunderstood? The goal is not acceptance at any cost. That can become self-erasure. But the goal is also not to be rejected forever, as if pain were proof of depth. The deeper freedom is stranger than both. It is reaching a point where you no longer need the family to approve of you, but you also no longer need them to be wrong for you to exist. You can understand the role without obeying it. You can leave the herd without spending your whole life staring back at it. That is when the black sheep stops being a reaction and becomes a person. Not a family problem, not a beautiful victim, not a rebel performing for invisible judges. A person. Someone with enough courage to question the room and enough humility to question themselves. Someone who knows that being different is not a destination. It is only the beginning of a harder responsibility, to turn separation into direction. Because it is not enough to leave the herd. You have to discover where your own path actually goes. Lucid Order. Question everything.